right, guys.
Very good.
We'll start off with some questions.
What's a guy like Blake bring to your offense?
Blake's done well. It's we hated not having him in the spring. It was kind of a wild ride with him medically in the spring, and kid showed a lot of toughness and resiliency to just be back here competing right now. And I think that's been maybe the number one thing we've seen from him is you kind of know what you're going to get from him every day. There is a toughness about him. He's a very consistent competitor. He's still a young player, but he's got a pretty versatile skill set. So he's one of the guys that has certainly taken advantage of his reps and made a move here in camp. And he's going to continue to get better and better as a player. He does have a very good skill set. The number one thing that stands out is his toughness and his mentality. The way he competes every single day for a young guy is pretty impressive.
Overall, how do you feel about the team depth right now?
I feel good. Obviously, you hate to lose Jude for part of the season like we did. I mean, Jude was really practicing well. Malcolm and Lake have really been strong. Follows a guy that we're hoping will step up and really come on. He's kind of been intermittently on and off of the field, and so he's another guy that needs to stay on the field and get better because he is a talented kid. And then Mahoney, Ray, those guys certainly provide some depth as well. So we've got some bodies. None of these guys have played just a ton of football in their career. Malcolm's played the most, but I do like the skill set. It's not like the numbers we have in there. I think they'll be a part of what we do.
As you move out of fall camp into getting game week ready for obviously the next couple of weeks of your opener, you'd like to transition to what you saw today?
Pretty good. There's always it's always a little bit different, when you're going, a lot of ones-on-ones and good-on-good in fall camp, and you start to transition to learning to practice against scout teams and learning to see different looks. And so we're a little bit in that transition right now. I think guys, for the most part, it's been pretty positive. There's some things that we weren't as happy about yesterday that we need to do better, and I thought the energy level and all that was great. Big thing we're pushing on the guys right now is, this is not the game week practices are not like save it up and gear up for the game. I mean, we intend to practice out here, especially on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the way we expect to play on Saturdays. And so, again, just the mentality of, this is not a conserve and survive and just make it to Saturday. This is, you play like a practice. And so we expect these practices to be intense, physical. We're going to push them mentally. And I thought they responded pretty good here on our first Tuesday.
Julian Simon.
We haven't seen Damani out of practicing in a little bit now. Is that something you expect maybe drag into the season, or is that going to affect him in terms of getting started?
It's definitely short term. It's definitely short term. I mean, we expect to have him back here in the next few days. Hope to have him available for every game. Certainly, I think very solid chance of that.
Having missed the time he has in practice, you expect it might take him a little bit longer just to get going?
Yeah, kind of same answer, as Corey. I mean, it's anybody out there. Even if guys have played a ton, it's just you can't miss time on the field and then expect to play at a high level, and then also expect that we're going to push you out there. I mean, it's just you have to practice and you got to play. And obviously, there's things that happen that are out of our control. Damani had did a really good job in camp. The practices he's been available, and thought handled it very well. But he is fighting, and he's going to need to because he needs to practice with something really interesting.
What have you seen from guys like Gary Bryant and Taj Washington in the receiver competition?
Yeah, I've been excited with them. They've got to watch them a little bit last year. Was familiar with both those guys when they came out, and they both have very unique skill sets that certainly translate well to what we do offensively. Those guys were used primarily outside. Like previously, we're gonna, we'll probably end up moving those guys around a little bit, trying to take advantage of their skill sets maybe in a little bit different way. And they're competing. I mean, those two are really competing hard. They're, some of the sets for us, they're in the same group. And you got two experienced players, two explosive players, who both want to play. So, and then the other thing for those guys, they both factor in heavily on our special teams, which is a big deal. So, pleased with their progress. They both had some specific things coming out in spring that they needed to work on. Taj's consistency, Gary, his physicality, and I think both here this fall camp have taken some good steps in the right direction.
Coach, obviously, with being new to a team, there's a lot of new faces to get to know, but then you also had so many transfers come in that were, new to
you, new to the program, new to the school. You know, how have you felt like you've been able to, you know, build that culture or kind of bring the team together over the course of camp? And, you know, where do you think the team is at in terms of, you know, kind of that unified identity now?
Yeah, camp helps reveal those things. I mean, camp is a lot of times our favorite time of the year because it's the most time that you spend together, other than when you travel to games. Because there's no school. Those guys are with you darn near the entire day for 2 or 3 weeks. And, so I thought camp was a fun way for guys to get together, and not just do the football part of it, but spend time getting to know one another. We've done things as a team, activities. We've done things within our own position rooms to build that. I've said it a bunch. It's not going to be a crutch for us. I mean, it is what it is. We know it's competitive, and we know it's a competitive advantage for us to really grow together as a team. And we've got to make the most of the time. And as coaches and staff, it's our job to do the little creative things to put them in position to do that. We've tried to do that as much as we can.
Yeah, let's see one more. That doesn't happen overnight, but you know, where are the biggest areas of growth, and what are areas that you still want to see this team improve on in that?
That's the biggest areas of growth, and I just think the relationships within the team. I think when you're around this team, you don't really feel like it came together the way it did, which is the positive thing. I mean, it feels like a lot of these guys have been together multiple years. You see the camaraderie, and the big thing I look for is that we don't have a bunch of cliques right now, which this doesn't feel like some fourth grade class or whatever. We need to be, the guys need to get to know one another, get out of their comfort zones, learn to rely on each other, because we're going to all need each one of us. And then, going forward, I think those relationships and that trust and all that is just going to get strained in a different way here in about 10 days. And games are a different animal, and you find out how tight it really is, and you got to really bond together, because we'll be tested, and it'll be tougher than anything we've had to do.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
Thanks.